Good morning, YouTube, and welcome to another video. Thank you for joining me today. Today we'll go ahead and get to the word of the Lord, and then we'll get to the project. So today's reading is coming from First Chronicles. Let's see, First Chronicles chapter 16, verses 28 and 29, and it reads as, "Ascribe to the Lord, all you families of nations. Ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. Ascribe to the Lord the glory due his name. Bring an offering and come before him. Worship the Lord in the splendor of his holiness." Thank you for joining me for the word of the Lord. Today I came to sew with you all of my blocks that I finished. I finished all of my applique blocks. Here are all of my 8 patches. I did a video on how to put these together, and then I did all of my sewing of my applique. All of my sewing of my applique. So we are going to go ahead and sew these to our 8 patches. Let me answer this text right quick. Let's see, here we go. All right, let's get going on that. So we're going to turn on our machine, and remember my 1/4 inch. I sew everything at a 1/4 inch. My 1/4 inch is 6.5, and then I sew with a 2.5 stitch length. So I'm going to go ahead and thread my machine. And let me open this up so my thread can flow freely. Go ahead and thread my machine, and let's put you down. All right, and so we'll just grab a block, and you can use pins if you want to. Normally I don't use pins for something this small, but I'm going to get some pins just to show you guys how you can use some. Give me just a second. I have plenty of pins, and I have it on this little thread catcher that I throw my thread in. And then I also have one of these. This sharpens your pen. I've had this for, probably 20 years. I've had a lot of stuff for a long time. But if you wanted to pin your block, you can just put them edge to edge. And if you want to sew without running into the pin and just do a continual sew, I'll show you what that looks like. Just put your block, stretch it to the end. And I like thin pins. If I am going to use a pin, it needs to be a thin pin. I don't like the thick pins. And let me show you what I mean when I say a thin pin. Let's see. Here. So these pins are different. One's thinner than the other. But then this pin is way thicker. I'm not sure if you can tell that, but this pin is way thicker than these ones. These ones are thin. This one's the thinnest one. And I just go to Joann's and pick out the ones that are the thinnest, that I think are the thinnest, by comparing them. So if I don't want to remove my pins, I put them sideways like that. If I did want to remove them, as I sew, I would put them like this. And you can put them any way that makes you comfortable. It's one thing I like about quilting and crochet. They are forgiving. Certain things are forgiving. Certain things are not. If you wanted to remove your pins, then you would put them at the top. But I don't want to remove my pins, so I am not going to put them in there. So I'm going to get my foot down here and go ahead. I have my sewing machine at a 6.5 and my stick length at a 2.5 because that is what it takes to get my 1/4 inch, and I have my J foot on my machine. And some people start with a little thread leader, so just a piece of scrap fabric that they like to sew onto first, and helps to keep your stitches flowing without getting caught up on the thread. So I'm going to chain piece, which means I'm going to feed one after the other. So then I just put that in under there, making sure that I keep it to the edge. Keep all my seams down. Then I'm going to pick up my next one, and I'm just going to add it to the bottom. And like I said, I'm not going to be adding pins, so I'm just going to pick that up and sew that. Now this one is a little bit, it looks like it's a little bit uneven because of my pinking ones. So I am just going to get this to the top. Now this one I might pin because it looks like it might be a little bit uneven. So I'm just going to pin it to the edges. And this one I'm going to sew on this side. I'm not going to sew it on the other side. So that's what I mean by forgiving. You can choose whatever side you want to sew it on. So then I'm just going to sew that. But I'm still not running into the pins. But if I do run into the pins, I will just move it. So then I'm just going to pick up the next one. And we're just going to keep on sewing them until we are done. Let's see. This one seems a little bit longer, if you could tell. See how it's a little bit longer? But what I would do on that is I would just, because it's forgiving, I would just mark it to the edge of one of the blocks. And where it's uneven, I won't worry about it because I will cut that part off when I get to it. Once I press the block, I will cut off the part that is a little bit over the edge. So that's what I mean by this is a very forgiving. So see how it's, I have a little bit extra over here and a little bit extra over there because the blocks with the pinking shears are a little bit bigger than what I cut with my own, because those pinking shears for some reason make it a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do is just continue to sew, and then when I go to press it, I'm going to press it flat, and then anything over the excess I will just take my rotary cutter and ruler, and I will and I'll cut it off. So continue to sew. Continue to just sew down your blocks until you have sewn all of them. And then once I have all of these sewed, I'm going to come back. Once I have all of these sewed, I'm going to come back. I'm going to show you what pressing them looks like, and the ones that have overage, I'm going to show you how to cut that overage part off. So stay tuned for the next part. Go ahead, finish up this part. We're almost done with the quilt top, so I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. I hope you're following it along. And yeah, so we'll be back after I'm done with all of this and after I press them. All right, God bless. You have an awesome and an amazing day. Be blessed, my friends.